What's up, everyone? I'm here today with another video, and this is one that I am really excited to make because it relates to the original reason that I created this channel, and that is investing. And in this particular case, it is cryptocurrency. So I had been meaning to make this video for a very long time. I think that today in particular, being May 8th, Elon Musk is going to be on Saturday Night Live. I think it's reached sort of a fever pitch. I think it's the perfect time for me to actually take the time to piece this video together. So I've got all my new camera gear. I'm going to try to make this really the most comprehensive video that I've put together to date. We'll see how it goes. I'm honestly doing most of this from memory. General topics. Cryptocurrency. What is it? How does it work? Why invest in it? What's my personal favorite? Quick spoiler alert, it's Cardano. I have been invested in cryptocurrency in a big way probably since 2017. I shifted about $105,000 from my equities, which is really the meat and potatoes of my investments outside of real estate that's gone up really kind of, not unintentionally, but that hasn't been an actively managed investment area, over to cryptocurrency. In March of 2020, that $105,000 was worth less than $10,000. It was worth about $7,800. In December of 2020, that investment was worth about $34,000. And in February, late February of 2021, it was worth $350,000. So this is one of those things where it really just fits with my investment style. I find something I like, I find a reason to be in it, and I just stick with it for the long haul. We'll get into all of that. First, let's start with the overview. Okay, so the overview. What is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a currency that is decentralized, meaning it is not backed by any nation or state. It sort of runs autonomously, independent of nation borders. When I first heard about Bitcoin years ago, and I mean this was years ago, back when it was about $300, having been very much ingrained and entrenched in equity investments, I just thought that this was pure BS. I saw no value to it whatsoever. I thought people that bought it were completely foolish. I thought it was going to crash and burn. Needless to say, I didn't buy anything at that time. 2017 rolls around. Bitcoin is suddenly worth $5,000, $6,000. I've got friends at Google that are buying it up with really no kind of investment acumen at all. And again, it had me feeling like this is a bubble, this is silly, it can't actually be worth anything. And I kind of put it off for a couple of months until a friend of mine introduced me to XRP. And he was really adamant that this was an investment worth looking into. And I took it seriously and I decided to do some due diligence. And when I do due diligence, I really do due diligence. So let me caveat this video first with saying I am not an investment professional. This is not investment advice. All of the usual disclaimers that you'll see in these videos. Everything that I'm telling you right now is honestly probably 2 to 3 years old with respect to the due diligence that I put in. But I suspect a lot of it is still valid because I really went down the rabbit hole then. And when I looked into Ripple, I started to really understand the space. So the thing about Ripple is it's actually backed, or XRP, it's actually backed by a single company that really holds the remainder of the stake, and they get to kind of drive the future of it. Their intention was to streamline kind of cross-border transactions, things like MoneyGram, Western Union, and I actually personally saw utility in that when I started looking into this. And so I invested money into Ripple as I continued to investigate the space. As I investigated the space more and more, I came around to understanding really the true value of Bitcoin. And part of it was driven by the experience I had with American financial institutions in trying to get money over to crypto. So 3 years ago, if you tried to make a wire transfer from any reputable bank in America, Ameritrade, Wells Fargo, you would face a lot of resistance. You think it's your money until you try to spend it, and when you try to spend it, you realize that there is a kind of higher level being that actually controls your money and prevents you from using it in ways that they don't like. I had multiple wire transfers blocked from multiple financial institutions, and really to get money into the cryptocurrency world back at that time, I had to use a lot of basically credit cards, cash advances, and pay ridiculous fees to move small amounts of money over. But I did it because to me it was worth it to get into the space, to get my hands dirty, to experience it, to understand what it's all about. And that experience with Bitcoin is really the essence of why it exists if you look at it from another perspective, which is that of if you're a citizen of a country or state where the government is not managing its finances in a proper way. Think of Zimbabwe, think of inflation, right? You could work your whole life, and if you're only in the currency of the country, you're not going to get anywhere. The inflation is going to kill you. So having something like Bitcoin that you can put your hard work and savings into as a store of value that goes across nation boundaries such that citizens of other countries are actually supporting this same effort and helping maintain that value is a real benefit to certain parts of this world. There is a place for this, absolutely, in this world. Decentralized finance is going to be a real thing. So still, I continued to go down this rabbit hole. I decided kind of at that time, I didn't really like Ripple. I didn't like XRP because it didn't fit the true essence of the purpose of cryptocurrency. And I decided if I was going to invest in cryptocurrency, I wanted to invest in the space in a way that sees this purpose brought to fruition. Because I believe in investing. You know, some people get lucky. Some people, it's like playing the lottery, right? If you bought Dogecoin, you're riding a high, you're feeling good about things. I think being invested in the space, obviously being exposed to it, can be a value as well in general. But I'm the type of person who, first of all, I love to optimize everything. And second, from an investment point of view, I have to see the value. I invest for a purpose. And to me, Bitcoin, while it paved the way, is really kind of like an iPhone 1, the way that I look at it. It is too slow and too expensive to handle transactions on a global scale. And if I'm going to invest in the space, I want to invest in the future of the space. So I started really digging into what that could be. And there is Ethereum, which I think really starts to hit, that purpose on the head. It's an active, growing network with a lot of activity. I think even then it still has its drawbacks. Partly at the time is I like to invest in new and emerging technologies, not things that have already been established. So I really don't have a problem with Ethereum per se, except that at the time I think it was just more expensive than I would have liked. So I continued evaluating still, and I discovered Cardano, or ADA, which is what the token is called. And this was a project that it turns out I just fell in love with. At the time, it was a lot of vaporware, you could say. It was really just a great idea, a great plan, a great design, a great path forward. You could call it a Generation 3 cryptocurrency where if it's brought to fruition, you will see the value that I talked about with respect to this space really materialize. And man, at the time, the price fluctuations in this, as I watched it, I want to say it went anywhere from like 10 cents to 40 cents to over $1. I put, like I said, about 105,000 into cryptocurrency. I made a little bit of money on XRP. In the end, I moved everything over to ADA. And I had about 225,000 ADA when all was said and done, which I'd have to do the math. I think it roughly is like 40 cents an ADA is what I ended up paying. And I sat on it. And then the cryptocurrency market imploded. And when an entire market implodes, it doesn't matter what you're invested in. There's no separation of the wheat from the chaff. It's just everything goes under. But I'm used to this. I've invested in highly volatile stocks for the long term in areas such as biotech or just emerging technology in general, where the sector comes and goes in waves and you can get beat up 50%, 70% for no reason at all. I view long-term investing as potentially having 2 exits in a 10-year span. I don't buy something with money that I'm going to need otherwise. I'm willing to let it set. I watch the fundamentals. As long as the fundamentals are improving at a pace and in a way that I am happy with, I am happy to stick with the investments that I make. So Cardano and the entire crypto market proceeded to crash. And in March of 2020, it was worth about 3 cents, which, like I said, was less than $10,000 on the 225,000 ADA position that I had. In the meantime, I did keep up with the space, and I did participate in the staking for the testnet. I've been staking ever since. Staking means that, let me take a step back. Part of the problem with Bitcoin is that it is a proof of work algorithm. And proof of work means that you are putting in a lot of computations, which is very expensive actually from an electricity point of view, which is really one of the fundamental problems I have with it, is it's really kind of depleting the Earth's resources. As I investigated it, I think that there's an argument to be made that the value that the network brings to the world is worth the expense of the energy output. But Cardano uses a proof of stake algorithm, which is far more efficient, and I think will prove to be really the path forward to global adoption. So with proof of stake, you take the position that you have and you commit to a stake pool, and you say basically, I trust that this actor is going to do right by the network, and in participating in that, the person that's running the network, the stake pool operator, gets rewards, and he distributes a portion of those rewards among those who have staked with him. So since that time, I've made about another 17,000 ADA, so I have 242,000 total at the moment. And ADA has proceeded to go from 3 cents to about 14 cents in December of 2020 to $1.70 yesterday, $1.60 now. It's worth about $390,000. something that was worth less than $10,000 a year ago is now worth $390,000. That's why I take the time to learn about new spaces and really deep dive and really understand what it is and make decisions about what I like and invest accordingly. And it's just my personal philosophy, but like I said, I really was purposeful in what I selected. I invested in a vision for the future for this planet that I could see being beneficial and adding value to it. I could have invested in Bitcoin, I could have invested in Dogecoin if I was just chasing the money, but I don't actually believe in either of them for my own specific reasons. And for me to sleep at night with the volatility that you see in some of these spaces, I need to understand fundamentally the value that it's going to bring to the world. And that's why I've been able to stick with ADA this entire time. And that's why I intend to hold it for really a long time more. But there is a caveat here. And really that is the last sort of implosion of the cryptocurrency space. I honestly did not think it would fall as it would fall. But crypto bull markets are crazy and crypto bear markets are crazy. And part of me wants to think that that's going to change with the kind of corporate adoption and backing of Bitcoin, with Tesla going in, with JP Morgan Chase really, that's a whole nother story of they talked down the last bull rally as much as they could. And then when it crashed, they bought everything up and now they're talking it up again. That's kind of the way the world works. The rich get richer and they buy when everything is on fire sale. So that's kind of the position we're in now. And I'll be honest, I am not adding to my cryptocurrency position at this time. I am really focusing on equities. And if anything, I'm looking to sell if it looks like this is going to reach kind of a peak and the bubble is going to pop. I don't know that it's going to get there. I really don't want to pull the money back out because the capital gains taxes that I'm going to have to pay would be absurd. So really I would kind of like to ride this out, but at this time I'm more focused on potentially selling as opposed to adding to my position. The time to add would have been 3 months ago, would have been 1 year ago. The time to add again will be when all of the dust settles in this space and things get very, very boring again. All right, so to wrap up this video, a lot of people who have seen my success from an investing point of view always ask me what I think the future holds, as if I have some sort of crystal ball. And the honest answer that most people don't like to hear, but it is the truth, is I do not have one. I think the markets really in general, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's the stock market, have to be viewed as potentially completely arbitrary. Could go up, could go down. There's unforeseen circumstances all the time that you never account for. There are bad actors, malicious actors, good actors, people that are acting for reasons that are not necessarily logical or based on fundamentals, and your fundamental investment thesis has to work around that. That's why I say that any given long-term investment I make, I'm willing to hold for 10 years plus. I'm gonna watch the fundamentals closely, and I view a potential optimal exit as potentially happening only once or twice in that 10-year span. When those opportunities present themselves, that's when I start looking at potentially selling. I am honestly much more better at buying value and finding great deals than I am at actually taking profit. I very rarely take profit. I tend to accumulate and sit on things for a very, very long time. I always have a long-term outlook. And at times, while that has been costly, certainly for the short term, because like I said, the first go around in crypto, I walked $105,000 down to less than 10, sticking with it, and really not even for that long a period of time, 3 years, has now netted me 3 times on top of the initial investment presently. this is a window to sell if I want to sell. I don't think I do. I think I still want the exposure to the space. I still think Cardano is a fantastic long-term prospect. I think it has better potential than Ethereum, which is valued very, very significantly higher than Cardano at the moment. I love to see Ethereum be successful because it is paving the way for Cardano. Bitcoin, I think, will continue to do well. It's a quote-unquote store of value. Digital gold, I personally don't buy gold. I'm not knocking it if you do. That's the other thing about me, is I don't ever tell people that they're making a bad investment. Everybody makes their own decisions for their own reasons. It's a big world. I'm just explaining to you my personal position and take on things. As far as where this market goes from here, I think people like big round numbers. Total wag in the dark. Bitcoin could hit 100K. Seems like a nice round number that people would love to target. Could potentially fall back as far as 20. I really do not know. So I think if you don't have any exposure to this, learning about it, making good decisions for yourself that you're comfortable with is a good idea. I highly recommend it. I don't know that I would go all in at this time, even if you had no exposure. I would probably take a dollar cost averaging approach to this and just start to invest for the long term. And if you do invest, really there is one more aspect of this that you need to understand really, really well, which is that because there is no institution behind the scenes, there are no takebacks. There's a lot of fraud, a lot of scams out there. If you send your cryptocurrency to the wrong person, if you mismanage it and lose your keys, you will lose it and it will be gone forever. I know Coinbase is big in America. I personally do not recommend keeping cryptocurrency on an exchange unless you're actively trading it, because these institutions potentially could be defrauded, and if they go under, you lose your cryptocurrency. I honestly don't know how Coinbase manages their stuff, but the potential is always there that they get hacked, and your currency stored with them is a liability to yourself. So I personally recommend really understanding the process of cold storage or keeping it yourself and maintaining backups, and not really keeping an electronic signature on any of your computers that could be hacked or tracked. This is the Wild West. This is gold in your back pocket. There are people that want to take it from you, so manage it well. And last but not least, I have made it a personal point, if you have watched any of my videos, to never do the really kind of annoying, somewhat stupid, but I understand it, necessary YouTube sales pitch of please like and subscribe. But in this particular case, this is probably the most important video I've done to date. I have so much more up my sleeve that I could share. Personal objective in my life is I want to retire young. I set a goal with my wife that if I can clear $1 million change profit mark to market in equity investments in a single day, that she will let me retire on the spot. It was an absurd challenge. I honestly think she probably thought it was impossible. And last year on the equity side of the house, I managed to clear $670,000 in one day. So there is a lot more I can share. That's really, like I said, the purpose of this channel. If you like this video, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe. There will be more to come. Throw it in the comments if you want to hear anything in particular or get any clarification on this. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next one.